stuff, like all the 30 for 30 documentaries.
I love sports documentaries. Yeah.
And then obviously The Last Dance is like amazing.
I feel like even if you're not into sports, you can watch a good, well-made sports documentary and get invested, even if you don't give a shit. Because that's what they frame all the best points, the storylines. That's why The Last Dance was so interesting too, because it's these things we didn't know that we thought we knew from the people who were there.
It's just like the idea of the speedrun videos.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
To go back to a dorky element that I can at least relate to, where I watch those and I'm totally enthralled because it's a shortcut to literacy that I don't have. I never grew up with the vocabulary of that. I'm sure some people are like, what about cricket? No, and amongst the sports community. I just couldn't, despite the fact that I really wanted to, especially in LA. Like, the nuances to it are fascinating. And that's often the sell for professional wrestling as well, independent of, quote, realism. It's theatre, right? And the idea that you would build out a super comprehensive lore and background and history that only the most dedicated people would know, and then they get to pay off on that. That's great, and that's fascinating. And watching a sports documentary gives you even just like a little bit of flavor.
They're also good, and it like I feel like if you're not a fan of sports, or if you're one of those like sport ball, I don't know nothing about that, like people, then you watch a sports documentary and you realize like we're all the same, and we're just telling the human story of trial and tribulation. And
that sports bullshit infuriates me. As somebody that is not actively, I won't even say interested, actively involved in the fandom of any sport whatsoever, it's gatekeeping based on the vocal minority. Like, all the jocks that I used to be really into sports. It's like, yeah, but they're like maybe 2% of the entire sport watching audience, and you just happen to, like, you could very reasonably say that the gaming demographic is all terrible people because the majority of the vocal ones are terrible people. But I'm more committed to the gaming community than anything else in my life.
What is also great about sports is, like you said, theater. It's the live theater aspect of it, where you don't know what's going to happen. There's so much stake in it, or whatever. I don't know. That's what it's like. So you think sports are stupid, but you like movies, right? You like, or one thing that kind of bridges the gap between me and my wife Amanda is she really likes the show Big Brother. We watch that together, and it's a reality show. People living in a house, and they get power one week and vote someone off.
In Big Brother, they're like not allowed to. Like it's like very much like
it's completely contained.
Yeah,
but what's fun about
you see every single room.
Yeah, and what's fun about Big Brother Survivor's all like pre-recorded and then edited, and then they do the live finale. Big Brother is going on as it's happening. So every Wednesday there's the live fiction show. You can see these like live reactions, and she gets really into those, and it's like, okay, I think I see why you like sports now. It's like you get excited.
Does the US version have the actual ongoing live stream?
Yeah.
Yes. You can straight up consume every single minute.
Pretty much, yeah. They only cut away during like the competitions. But pretty much you can watch whatever. And we have those. But yeah, but that was sort of the bridge. It's like, so yeah, you understand why people like sports. Because you get a player like most that emotion of it, being emotionally invested in something all over is something we'll talk about. It's heartbreaking, but so rewarding.
Yeah.
And so much of, all of our lives, especially YouTube, so much of your time is spent curating something that's very, very consciously made. Like, here is something that from front to back I was creatively and intellectually responsible for. I just raised this video baby, and here I'm now setting it up to school. Whereas this is, not unlike, to be honest, Sad Boys is like a nice degree from the other stuff we work on, because it's done instantly.
It's like, I used to be because it was like, you do it, it's done, it's existed, it's interesting for the audience that was there, but if you look at a videotape of it, don't do that, it's pretty strange, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you're describing a dream to someone.
Have you dabbled in improv?
Yeah, that was both the thing that for some reason. Also, what I think ultimately makes it lack of permanence, where it's like we had this amazing show, this big shared experience, the audience was into it, we all had this pretty show, and it's gone forever. You can record it, but it's not going to have the same impact. But also having a creative outlet that you don't have to prepare a lot for. You just go and you create these things in the moment. It's so Like the highs I got from improv were better than some of the other highs I've gotten in my life. Just that coming up with the perfect line on the spot or creating this moment and living in the scene like when there's that you start a scene, you don't really know what's gonna happen, but you just sort of have that mental connection and realize what the joke of the scene is.
Yeah.
And then you see someone come in because they know exactly what the next step would be, and it's like it's one of the beautiful forms of art.
It's like kinetic. It's like shout out to Movie Dancing Twice because I think it's got a really great depiction of improv, like this dance. Like it's like shot. All the improv scenes are like shot like a dance, and it gives it this life thing. He had a still shot. It just doesn't give it the just in the moment. And also shout out to Ulysses Schwartz because first of all, they're incredible. I've seen them live a couple times, and their Netflix show is fantastic. Like their Netflix, like I have never seen improv captured, like real improv captured on film as well as it is.
Yeah, I was really like I loved those guys to death. I was still worried going into like, oh, it's gonna be weird, but it's like I don't know if it was the way they filmed it or I guess it's just because it's I don't know. It also came out at a good time where it was at the beginning of the pandemic. People died for that human connection, human experience. It felt like you were there.
There's a very healthy amount of kayfabe, you know that term? In the recipe of kayfabe is the persona that you maintain independent of the actual screen show. You maintain. Hulk Hogan goes out about it, he goes to the mall and he goes, "You want fries with that?" He goes, "Yeah, brother." You know, that's maintaining kayfabe. And I think the healthy distance they have in the scene, which is something like Lorne on SNL, where you ever break the show apart with yourself and the show. I think Middleditch and Schwartz, because they know each other so well and the show is so small scale, are able to dabble ever so lightly in the "isn't this silly that we're doing this?" and kind of laugh
it's the
along with
fucking
us.
best. You're in it
without
with them.
killing the scene.
Like they do, like I've seen Thomas Middleditch and Ben Schwartz do this. Like Middleditch, one of my favorite shows that he does is Improvised Shakespeare. Like in Chicago, it's like Improvised Shakespeare Company. It's like one of the best live shows I've ever seen. Everything is in like rhymed couplets and like Shakespearean like dialogue, and they improvise an entire 3-act Shakespearean play. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's just insane.
But like I've seen it in that, and I've seen it in Middleditch and Schwartz, where they have this power to like comment on the thing as it's happening, while still being without losing the thread of what's happening in the moment, which is very difficult to do because
it's something you're told by an improv teacher not to do. You're told to commit 1,000% every time, and if you're doing it wrong, it comes off as hammy or it's self-destructive. Like you're shitting on what's happening, and then but if you do it well, like they do, then
you feel like you're brought into the fun because it's like, wait, who was I? But I thought I'm over here, and then you see like them building the stage picture because they're playing like several characters at once, and it's like, oh yeah, it is a lot that you have to keep in mind. They're showing you a little bit of peek behind the scenes of like, where we last left our heroes. Like I was standing over here, there's a guy who's dead on the floor right here, and like they have some sort of relationship, and I'm starting to lose it, and then we together come up with like the resolution to that because everyone wants to see them land the plane, and so there's like a catharsis element to it. I don't know, it's just such a
I think dabbles in the same aesthetic to a degree. Not just quite literally in the somewhat similar sense of humor, but his shows have become so metatextual at this point where the joke is, are you just as shocked that this is working out as I am? Let's all indulge in how strange that is, while also not compromising on how funny the actual jokes are. Right. In the same vein as Lonely Island, like those are. I think we always talk about the first one, Lonely Island, because they're so influential on, I would assume, all streamers. Is that accurate, Drew?
Definitely.
Whereas those shows never compromise the actual, or rather, those tracks never compromise the actual quality. You can listen to them independently. They're always actually funny. They're always well produced, but also you could very easily indulge in the comedy of this much work into a dumb pop song about having a death in a grocery store. Like that. It's kind of wacky.
I don't understand. Like it's like this line between committing and not committing. Because going back to the reason that improv teachers tell you not to break or anything like that is because you aren't committing to the moment. You're not being in the moment. You're thinking. You're not supposed to write in improv. You're not supposed to be writing in your head.
Yeah, it's like you're all inflating this balloon together, and you just come in and pop it, and it's
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
okay, you destroyed the whole thing to make one bad joke.
Exactly, but somehow I think that like throws that line of like his songs feel earnest, but he's also got the wink and the nod to everything that he's doing, and it allows him flexibility with the types of topics that he covers or the jokes that he makes that would not be afforded to, you know, a less self-aware comedian, I guess, or someone who takes themselves too seriously. Like, I think that there's like this great like line with,
I do wonder if, like we were saying, like, improv just so rarely translates to a recorded format, if their tongue-in-cheekness throughout it, that sort of like winking to the audience, helps bring viewers in. If they were too committed, like maybe it would have been like, as an audience watching from home, it's like, this is weird, but for them to sort of be like, yeah, this is silly, right? Because it's so ridiculous what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So to acknowledge that is common ground between the audience, and they do it in a funny way without shitting, you know.
Have either of you watched, what's the name of Ben Schwartz's like short form project where he was doing, it says a morning talk show with him and actors and a couple of other people.
That's like a Funny or Die thing?
Yeah, it's Funny or Die version from like 3 years ago, and the whole conceit is that each episode is based on his wife breaks up, and then it's just right afterwards. And the genius of it is that the breaking is so rare. It's a little like a California sketch to a degree, where the break is so real and so transparent. Like they start using real names for 5 seconds after it happens, and they hard cut back to the scene. Push back and forth contrast to it's like a horror movie. Like you're hitting that, like, oh my god, wow, they really just played that scene so aggressively, but not too long enough to consider. Okay, well now I'm totally out.
So I think you make a really thinking about what you said about like the wink and the nod or like the acknowledgement makes it so I think that there's something that's like very similar to how YouTube is, right? Like it's like the parasocial like if you're good at improv, you're talking to the audience, like, hey, what's up? We're Middleton Schwartz. Like we're gonna do some live comedy. It's never happened before. Like someone's gonna give us a word. That like links the audience to the stage. It links the audience to and I think that the way that they are connecting to the viewers at home is very similar to like a YouTuber connecting to the viewers by looking into the camera and speaking. So it's like I feel like they're managing to do both. And I think that
it's also sort of that self-awareness, what's it called when you like make self-deprecating? That's what it says. It's similar in that way, which is a big thing on YouTube, where it's like I think people tend to gravitate towards YouTubers a lot of the time is because they seem like very real people, and it's good to put yourself down at times instead of, especially with what we do, where we're talking about other people in a negative way, and we're just like all cocky about it. It's like, well,
YouTube especially, I think. YouTube
it's been holding that in for a long time.
Finally. We found the title of the episode.
oh yeah, by the way, we came to the tour in LA, and
That's
the show
right.
was amazing. Yeah, so just wanted to shout out to the We're Two Different People tour.
In the case of U2 and the rest of the goats, of course, I think there's a very, again, maintaining that good faith in the scene of this is well-structured, pseudo-scripted where it needs to be. I don't want to lose a narrative. I have a statement to say and information to convey and set up to this joke. But they're not, hi, I'm fully insincere character and I'm just here for the memes. And who could say, I don't know to what degree an individual video just from it would be possible for me to say what was scripted, what was semi-scripted, and what was completely because at no point are you claiming that, hey, this is a fake version of myself with an entirely different name. If I have great abilities and I failed in that way, or this is all improv off the top and I failed in that way. It's just, hi, I'm Drew, you're familiar maybe with me and my background. I'm here to do something in the exact way that I do, and you engage with it in whatever way you like. I don't want to prescribe how funny it is to you for the reasons that I'm doing it. My humor happens to include self-deprecation. It's not there as like a PR tact move.
Yeah.
I kind of want to talk broadly about quarantine. So what if we gave a rating of quarantine as how it's been for our mental health?
Drew, what do you think of quarantine? Cool?
10 out of 10?
I love it.
A+, yeah. It's the fucking best.
Can I give it a raise?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
So out of 10, so anything?
I don't
you
know.
guys go first.
Yeah, Jordan, what would you give all of quarantine as a 0 to 100 score?
The quality of quarantine or my
The
experience
effectiveness of
it?
quarantine. How much is
I would
quarantine?
a big 150%.
Yeah.
It's crushing it right
Okay.
now. Strength to
I've been
strength.
very contained.
I'm so quarantined. The subtext here is, how's everybody coping? how's everybody doing?
All right, yeah.
Like I kind of mentioned earlier, I think like a lot of people, there's been ups and downs during quarantine. There's times where you sort of just accept what's happening, or you just have a good day and it feels like, okay, I can do this, and then you just sort of break down in the middle of that day, or another, and then there's the ups and downs. It's definitely been better recently, but that is after pretty much all of July was like, I had more panic attacks in July than I think I had in my entire life combined.
Wow.
It was really bad. I went to the ER 2 separate times because I thought I was dying. And you'd think after the first time I wouldn't have to go again, but it was a different kind of panic attack that I had experienced before the second time, where I thought I had a stroke.
Oh my God.
It was terrifying. I don't even know how to describe it. And what scared me about it too is it came on so suddenly, whereas generally with panic attacks it's sort of a slow build-up of anxiety and then it brims over, where it's at. I felt pretty good all day, and then it just sort of hit me really fast, and I was like, the only logical conclusion here is that I broke a blood vessel in my brain or something. I was shaking, and it was.
Are there historically triggers? Because that sounds like a cumulative effect, right? Like, God, this month has been so overall stressful that now it's snapped. Or was it typically tied to like, holy shit, what a terrible phone call?
Well, I don't know. I can't even relate the anxiety I've been having this year to the anxiety I've had in the past, because it's so specific to what's happening, and a lot of mine has stemmed from anxiety about my health, where I went the past 6 or 7 years never going to the doctor, never thinking anything would be wrong with me because I'm a healthy young person. And then all of a sudden this year, it's like I'm constantly paying attention to my body in ways I've never had before. I'm like, is my heart beating fast? Is my heart beating irregularly? Like, I was convinced myself I had congestive heart failure for like a month. I don't know how. I read something on the internet, and that's what triggered my first really bad panic attack. But I've gotten better, is because then I was like, well, I need to go to the doctor to get my test done. Everything's fine, thankfully. But once I found out, it's like, okay, there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing going inside of me. Several $100s later, of course.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, now I can just address my anxiety as what it is being psychological and not. Because it was hard before to talk myself out of something if I couldn't fully believe that it wasn't real. Once I convinced myself something was going on, it's like, well, I can calm myself down mentally, but if my heart is failing, then that's not going to stop happening if I feel better, good or whatever.
The thing about, with anxiety too, like if you can't anchor yourself in what's true or like a fact that you know about, like if you have a doctor that says we ran the test and everything's fine, then you can grab onto that like sort of safety handle whenever you're like, is everything going wrong? It's like, no, things did not change on the drop of a dime. The last time I felt like this, I went through this experience, I can like use that.
It's such a cycle too, where as soon as you start having anxiety, if I'm looking for symptoms of a serious problem, all of them are also symptoms of anxiety. So your heart beating really fast, or sweating, or feeling dizzy, and all these things, it's all like a panic attack. A really bad panic attack is very similar to a heart attack. That's why people go to the hospital when they're having a really bad panic attack.
For sure.
It feels like something physically is happening.
And it is not, even internally. I mean, as people, I think we're all fairly self-aware about our mental health, and that it's just as valid a concern as anything else. But that propaganda that it isn't is in there deep. It's hard to, it gets tricky to shift that. I would guess in all of our cases, you sometimes want to temper it with, that's just my brain.
Exactly, and then I go to the ER, and it's like, there's these doctors who are probably dealing with way more shit than I'm dealing with in the middle of a health crisis, and I'm like, I'm scared. Like, I don't know, then I feel like an idiot when I'm done. I mean, it's like, it felt so real to me, but then now I feel like I'm wasting the time.
But
so then there's sort of that guilt of it too.
But good on you for like going to the ER really are, and like trusting that, because I think it's very easy to hold that in for exactly the same reasons that you gave, which is like, I mean, you know, maybe my problems aren't worth it. Like, I would rather you know, take that leap and find out nothing is wrong.
Yeah, I'm glad I did.
Yeah, and the guilt is like a separate issue, but it's something that can be worked on independently, because like, I'm proud of you for going and